Now Smith has it. DeMoss the steal for three. Buried! Joey DeMoss. The far side. Timmons blocked again. Daly, top of the key, spinning. Daly up and one. What a play. Position Epps to Valentine. Yes, sir. Mackay with another. Corrado left block up and one. The Graphics up by one, now down by two. It's Davis again. Zion again. He cannot miss. Now it's Terza for the lead. Got it. Picked off. That's RJ Sledge. Sledge pulls up. Sledge and one. RJ Sledge, incredible. Same league, new name, new year here in the Steel City Summer Basketball League as we get set to welcome our new accompaniment of players into the Steel City Basketball League ranks as a new group of names. Players will hear their names called here this evening from Trailside as we get set for the 2024 draft of the Steel City Summer Basketball League as the defending champs AMD look to retool after losing some big name players in the likes of Mallory Daly, Avery Davis. Then you have teams who are looking to completely build from the ground up, like Cedarbrook, who had no returning players, had her trade for Michelle Jellison early on in the offseason, and they have a full roster to fill out. New team names as we've kind of revamped, retooled here. Alex Lyons, none of our own, with you for all the action here this evening from Trailside, our gracious host. Make sure you follow all the action as well on the Steel City Summer Basketball League Twitter as well. But Howard Hanna, formerly Lee Supply, Nick Dizon, the head coach, along with Caitlin Lagas. They return Opp, Bittner, Mia Sosteric, Sutton Williamson, who was one of the best in the league last year. So that's a lot of talent coming back and a lot to look forward to. We mentioned Cedarbrook. All they had coming back was nobody. They traded for Michelle Jellison, a little bit of a pip flop with Manesson Flores, but Michelle Jellison, I think that's going to be a big piece to build around and be nice for Cedarbrook to have Trailside. That was the old State Farm squad. So Tia Yellock back along with Bella Furno, Kaylin Settles, and Wilson, Manesson Flores. They have Maggie Spell, Haley Gibson, Jazz Farnan, and Bentley Lehue all returning. B Graphics, that is last year's defending runners-up. They were formerly Edward Jones. They returned Barella, Gleason, Larkin, Still, Wims, and they traded for Skylar Lee earlier today.
Sailor Lee, just
Sailor
last night.
Lee, yeah. So a very recent trade there for the 11th overall pick in AMD, the defending champs. It's Zombek, Eisenberg, Bella Klobuchar, Michaela Canty, Layla Marchinsky, and Shay Cochran all coming back. And, you know, the question is, I feel like this is the most open it's been coming into a season. I'm sure Yard and Bria wouldn't like to hear that, but this is the most open I feel like the league's been entering a year in a long time.
I agree, and I think a little bit has to do with all the big names that we had leave over the past few years. I mean, some really big names, some girls that went D1, some girls that went high D2, and them leaving, and then we still have really good talent in this league, and it's spread out across all 6 teams, and I think that's why it's going to be probably one of the most competitive years we've ever had here. Yeah,
definitely looking forward to just a quick draft order, then we'll turn it over to our gracious host here this evening at Trailside. Howard Hanna picked number 1, Manesson Flores in that trade. They moved up to the 2 spot, then Trailside 3, Cedarbrook in the 4 spot. Howard Hanna picks up another first-round pick from a trade last year. They are at number 5, and then it is the defending champs AMD at 6 as we will turn things over to our gracious host here this evening at Trailside before we get underway with all the picks here on MVI Live. It's the Steel City Summer Basketball League Draft.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Trailside, especially the Steel City Summer Basketball League, all the coaches. Looking forward to an exciting season. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves tonight. I know I'm looking forward to some basketball.
As we mentioned, underway here, getting with round number 1. Howard Hanna will have pick number 1. Again, already Ott Bittner, Mia Sosteric, Sutton Williamson on this roster. They have 2 picks in the first round, and they have the first pick of round number 2. So already talented Sutton Williamson you're going to add to it, but some of the players looking at two reenters, or big name reenters, Allie Wilson out of Thomas Jefferson and Abby Jennis out of Sarah Catholic. But I think TJ going to be very prevalent this year. We see a lot of TJ talent coming in. Alta Villa, Riley McCabe, of course, Allie Wilson coming back. So Thomas Jefferson, I think, going to have a strong showing this year.
Very strong.
And, I mean, there are going to be some big players to watch, and I think that's going to be a big stepping point for a TJ team that is going to need some help coming in with losing some big players like Lake and Flynn. But, two reenters, Abby Jennis and Allie Wilson, they were teammates last year on Cedarbrook, but Cedarbrook under a new coach and Bobby Zanoski coming over from the boys league, and he's building his roster from the scratch, and two of the top players in this draft were on his roster when he took over, but it was a reenter, so he's unable to draft either of them.
Right.
And they're going to be two of the best players that we see taken this evening.
Absolutely. They were two of the best younger players last year throughout the entire summer. I mean, it was great to see Abby Jennis's transition from the summer before to last summer, and then going into this season. What she did at Sarah was amazing. Allie Wilson, what she did last summer, I mean, she was very highly regarded coming out of the draft last year. So to see her as one of the top few picks, at least talked about amongst all the coaches, is no surprise for me.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the draft order. AMD just 4 picks, 6, 11, 12, and 18. It was at 3 till that trade earlier today. 4 picks for B Graphics, 17, 23, 28, and 21. So, again, that trade for Sailor Lee, another thing you look at with B Graphics, that's trading away their first pick they were going to have here this evening for Sailor Lee. They wanted a forward. They got it, obviously. Larkin, one of the best young players over the last 2 years inside the WPIL. I mean, 1,000-point score already. She is sensational in Emma Larkin. So you're going to put some people around her, Barella, Gleason. We know Savon Wims can shoot very well from outside. And then you re-enter Skylar Still. Vanessa and Florist, they have a lot of players to pick up, but they have 3 of the top 10 picks, 2, 8, 10, 20, 22, and 27. And Maggie Spell, one of the better scorers out of the 3A classification. You have her kind of leading the offense. Who are the pieces you're going to be able to put around her? Trailside, Bella Ferno, fantastic player for Norwin. Yellock was good last year. Of course, we know Caitlin Settles very well. They're going to add a 3, 9, 15, 21, 26, and 30. Cedarbrook, they got all the picks, 4, 14, 16, 25, 29, 32, 33, 34. And you look at the 3 in a row, that's where Bobby Zanoski, you feel like he's going to make or break his squad here this season. And then for Howard Hanna, 1, 5, 7, 13, 19, and 24. We'll have 2 bonus picks that was decided earlier here today, as Howard Hanna will have pick number 1 here in the Steel City Summer Basketball League. First pick under the new name here this evening from Trailside, as assistant coach Caitlin Slagus will do the honors in introducing Howard Hanna's newest player.
Howard Hanna will take Allie Wilson, a rising sophomore from Thomas Jefferson, as the first overall pick.
So obviously you got to see Allie in the league last year, and one of the better talents, early pick last season. What kind of drew you guys to take Allie first overall?
Yeah, no, we definitely got to see her a lot last season being in the league. We wanted to go big in the first round, and when she was available, we thought that was a no-brainer. Her and Sutton play AAU together, so putting Allie with our already returning player Sutton, we think that's going to be a good duo there.
So Allie Wilson goes first overall here this evening. I think no surprise there. And we talked about the TJ talent. Wilson, young and already has experience in the league, just going to be a rising sophomore, pairing her and Sutton Williamson. That is going to be a fun duo to watch this year.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. And don't forget about Mia Sesteric. I mean, she had a great year last year with the EF Warriors, and I think she's only going to get better. She's a great ball handler, a great on-ball defender. So Howard Hanna's definitely going to put some people on notice this year with their team for sure.
I think, and we've consistently seen a player like Sesteric bounce up and get better just due to the fact, she's played in this league from the time since she's been a rising freshman into seeing big-time minutes for EF the last couple years as Vanessa and Flores. Pick number 2, they got that in the Michelle Jellison trade, and it's going to be Bella Corrado, I think, making the pick. Chad said he was giving up drafting duties this year after the disaster we've seen in years past. Lainey Yater, Erica Gribble, they're taking the Flyers. they didn't pay off. We'll see what happens here tonight with a MoFlo first-round pick.
For our first pick, we will be taking Emma Altavilla from Thomas Jefferson.
So there's Jaguar number 2. And Bella, your dad said you were making the pick. Why Emma?
She was a really dynamic player. She played every position very well in tryouts. I really liked her intensity, so that's why we drafted her.
So one of the young Jaguars off the board with the first 2 picks, a pair of rising sophomores from Thomas Jefferson, Allie Wilson, Emma Altavilla. As Thomas Jefferson, see him at the top of the draft, and Altavilla maybe wasn't as dynamic for the Jaguars last year, but was a big piece still, played a lot of varsity minutes as a freshman, and then you're going to come in, play with some really good talent alongside, and kind of have a combo player like Altavilla to already complement the likes of Spell and Lehue, and then you have Gibson, your solidified big down low.
Yep.
And I think having Gibson, who's so young, gave you the ability to bump up to 2 and get rid of a player as good as Michelle Jellison.
Exactly. Yeah, Emma's going to bring a lot of, different things to Menneson Flores that they absolutely need. I think Chad copped out by giving Bella the draft rights when he has 2, 8, and 10. I think this is a really big year for Menneson Flores. They can't fault this draft, but they're off to a great start, especially with our second Thomas Jefferson Jaguar off the board.
Yeah, with them and Howard Hanna, they have the ability just in a draft to completely become front runners to be one of the top 2. Just with you have Howard Hanna, 157, 2-8-10. You can do a lot in those picks we'll see, which is a team that struggled last year, I think, absolutely can bounce back again this year, and that's going to be this Trailside squad. Yellock, Settles, Furno, Wilson, and now we'll see who's next to add the rebranded team, the Trailside squad, to the ranks. Already a talented group there, as Trailside going to pick at 3rd overall here in, I guess, just a few moments, but nonetheless, 38 players joining the ranks here inside the Steel City Summer Basketball League. Games once a night, about going to be streamed here on what's going to be a rebranded channel. We'll talk about that more as the evening goes on. But still going to be here. We're going to kind of shorten it up with some working with court time, get more people in the stands. That's what we really want to see. But we will have games here throughout the season. We'll have pick number 3 right now for the Trailside squad and Coach Dan Slane.
With the 3rd pick in the first round of the 2024 Steel City Summer Basketball League draft, Trailside picks Abby Jenis.
So I feel like no surprise here. Second re-enter player getting picked in the top 3, but Dan, very familiar with Abby. So how much is that like comfortability knowing Abby, knowing her game, and kind of working with Abby for so long, kind of point you in this direction?
That was first and foremost familiarity. I know Abby. I know her well. I know her game. Okay. The other thing is she's a great kid, and saw her practice habits, her game habits. She has game. Great ball handler. Okay. Excellent shooter, especially from 3-point range. And I understand this year you can play zone defense. She could be our zone buster because she does have range. And I tell you what, just a great kid to coach. And like I said, she comes from a good bloodline. Her cousin is Kaylee D'Angelo, stud freshman guard for Oakland Catholic. So it's good bloodlines there.
So Abby Jenis going to join a already very good-looking Trailside roster. Settles, Yellock, Furno, and now Abby Jenis. So that's going to be a really nice compliment. I like that Furno-Jenis, combination that we're going to get to see this year between the two of them. Jenis, great shooter. Furno can really drive and kind of give that kick-out play. Or with Jenis, we saw her so lethal from the corner for Sarah this year.
Exactly, yeah. And then they have the defense in Settles, who's also one of the best rebounders, as we saw in Elizabeth Ford last year. She was one of their leading rebounders. So
he's just building up the good bloodlines. Talking about Genesis, I mean, obviously Charlie Batch's niece, Caitlin Settles, on the roster as it is. So
you can't forget it all. You got to build that bloodline. There's also a Furno in this draft, so we'll see what he does later on.
I talked to Josephina yesterday, I believe, and she said, I want to play with my sister, not against her. So we got a couple sisters in the draft this year. The Bernardis girls, Lindsay and Lacey, but wait to see where they go. And, of course, another Furno joining the ranks is Bobby Zanoski. No surprise he's wasting no time to get up here and make his pick. Chad, I think we wait.
No, he just got to hit the button.
You good?
We're good. There you go, Bobby.
With the 4th pick, Cedar Brook selects Leah Squares. Leah Squares guard, North Allegheny.
So Bobby, one of the more experienced players in the draft, and
Whoops.
obviously Michelle and Leah wanted to play together. Was there any other option besides giving Michelle and Leah their wish?
I mean, that played a factor into it. Michelle really wanted her on the team. She's our only player. But we need somebody that can put the ball in the hoop. We have no players. Everyone poached us, and now we got to build. We got to get some senior leadership. We got to start somewhere.
So Bobby Zanoski adding his first of what will be many players here this evening, and one of the more experienced players, Leah Squares, who was part of the North Allegheny Tiger squad that fell victim to the Norwin Knights inside the WPIAL championship. As there goes the first 4 picks. Wilson,
I'll tell
Altavilla.
you what's going to be tough for Bobby, though. You know, he just picked at 4. He doesn't have another pick until 14, and he has to fill out his roster. So that's going to be very tough for Cedar Brook. But there's some really good players in this draft, especially late in this draft. He went older. I believe he's probably going to go younger to fill out most of the rest of his roster and try to make it competitive.
And we saw some really, really good young players. I mean, you have the likes of, Ryan Sledge. He coached her brother for B Graphics. So, I mean, you never know. A lot of good young talent. But, I almost thought maybe Bobby would consider moving out of 4, trying to get a couple middle picks like we see some of these other teams. But, that's not the case. He's known for a draft day trade. So I was waiting for it. Haven't seen it yet. And we'll get our
I don't think he's done.
I don't either. Our penultimate pick of the first round goes back to Howard Hanna in a trade they made last year. They already added Allie Wilson, 1 overall, and we'll see what pick number 2 is here for Howard Hanna.
Our second pick, we're going to take Delaney Amata, a rising sophomore from North Hills.
So another young player, and is this partially adding Amata, just building a young core that not just can compete now, but you're setting yourself up for the next 3 years between Wilson, Williamson, and now Amata?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those are 3 really good players as sophomores, so you just hope they stick with it and stay healthy and keep coming back year after year.
So Howard Hanna adds their second pick.
Slag, I was not at the first day of tryouts. Tell me about Amato. What's her game like? What should we expect this summer from her?
Yeah, she was really versatile. She was able to bring it up as the one. Really good handles, got her teammates involved, and honestly, another aspect that I really liked was that she was encouraging and really a really good overall teammate. She made some really good passes, so she can not only set up herself, but she also knows how to get the teammates involved in the ball moving around.
Awesome.
So another pick in the books. 2 of the first 7 that Howard Hanna will have. And now we're going to see our final pick, the defending champs. They've been to all the championship games, and they'll get their first pick. As Arden Minetti on trail side, forgot to mention that one. Appreciate Chad passing that along. At the bottom of the roster, so kind of forgot that.
Yeah,
but AMD, they have a lot to replace. I mean, from having Grotto consistently, and then, Davis, Daly, Eden Williamson. I mean, it's been talent after talent, and the cupboard's not dry, but it's definitely not what it was a season ago. So the draft's going to be all that much more important today, and getting another pick at 11 is going to be big, but we'll see who they take at 6 to start.
AMD will be taking a rising junior from Thomas Jefferson, Riley McCabe.
Riley McCabe, a lot of experience. 3rd Jaguar to go in the first round. Very good ball handler McCabe is, and you lost a great shooter, a great ball handler, all-around player. What do you think Riley's going to be able to bring to this group?
I think she's just going to bring great experience playing, in 5A, the section that she's in. We saw at the tryout, she's confident. She can score the ball. She can play defense. She's long. And that's really what we're looking for. Like you said, replacing some really irreplaceable girls. So I think she'll be able to come in and make a huge impact for AMD this summer.
You guys have a lot of shooters. Now you had a really good ball handler to the mix, and we'll see kind of what AMD has for maybe another back-to-back situation.
Yeah, obviously I'm anticipating a good run from AMD coming from that AMD line with my 2 or 3 years that I helped coach there. But they have some good coaches, but they have some really good players, especially Bella Klobuchar coming back, Emily Eisenberg, Zon coming back, Michaela Canty from the trade late last year. and Deshae Cochran. I'm expecting a really big year out of Deshae. As you know, AMD doesn't really like to draft big girls, so Deshae was one of the only forwards we've ever drafted outside of Bailey Brinson. So I'm pretty sure they're probably going to stick with Deshae as the big person and draft mostly guards here in this draft.
And when you have the opportunity to get a Bailey Brinson, you don't pass
You
up.
do not
you
pass
do not
up.
pass up Bailey Brinson.
But people did. We picked her in the second round. I don't know how Chad let her get through the first, but he did.
Because it's Chad in the first round.
That's
Exactly
very
what
true.
happened. That's exactly what happened.
That's
But I
very
mean,
true.
when you look at this AMD roster, obviously someone look at it and say, okay, you need a forward. You just explained obviously why that's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
Cochran, not even your prototypical forward. We have two forwards in this league in Cochran and Settles that are not prototypical,
Exactly.
but they're exactly what you want. But you have really good shooters, and Marchinski's young, but she has a heck of a shot.
Yep.
We know Eisenberg can shoot lights out from outside. Klobuchar is, I really have liked Bella since she's entered the league.
Yeah, as well.
And now you're adding Riley McCabe, has seen the floor since her freshman season at Thomas Jefferson.
Experience, right? Experience. So it's gonna be a really good year for AMD. They're gonna get tested. It's not gonna be wide margins like it has been the last 3 years. Every single game is gonna be battle tested. They're gonna have some losses, so we're gonna have to see how they respond to that adversity this year.
McCabe knows how to spread the ball around. Altavilla was on her team. Wilson was on her team. Lake and Flynn.
The
So
Jaguars, they're taking over. Man.
that's what you need to do. And we'll see as we turn the table to round two. Howard Hanna, third pick already here this evening in the Steel City Summer Basketball League Draft 2024.
First pick of the second round, Howard Hanna is going to select Brooke Palo, a rising senior from South Park.
So a lot of Youngtown is adding a senior kind of part of the mix to help move these younger girls along into the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. We reached out to a good bit of coaches about her since she wasn't able to make the tryouts, and all of them said great things about her and especially her leadership. So we definitely need some leadership on this young roster.
So a South Park Eagle, a senior headed to Howard Hanna, looking to go from worst to first. And if anyone, I mean, they have the tools to be able to do that with what they've already got in this draft. A lot of young talent, adding a senior leader, and played under our good buddy Matt Loftus for the last couple of years up at South Park.
Absolutely. I mean, if the first 3 picks of Howard Hanna's draft have said anything, it's saying that Allie Wilson is probably going to be playing a lot of bigger basketball for them, which obviously she can do, but, she's so talented. She can play outside, inside. She could guard, forward. She could guard bigger bodies. So, but it looks like they're going smaller and they're going younger, so I kind of like it.
Yeah, I look at a guard here, either Bernard Artis or it's going to be that rising 8th grader and Juliana Janikis here, I think, from Menneson Flores. They loved both of them.
Everyone loved them.
So we'll see what Menneson Flores does here in round 2.
For Menneson Flores' second pick, we are taking Lindsay Bernardis from Baldwin.
So no surprise, Bella, you absolutely loved her in night 1 of the tryouts. So you get your wish here in the second round, and maybe a good addition to kind of take some of the load off Maggie Spell as well for you guys this season.
Yep.
All right, so Bernardis, and one thing I like about her, Lindsay, she told me she's better than her sister when I asked her.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Is her sister's older than her?
Her sister's a year older in the draft as well. She's a rising junior.
Oh, I love that. The younger sibling's always better. I know that because I'm the youngest of 4.
I asked her, I said, do you want to play with or against your sister? And she's like, I'd rather, we don't always get along, so maybe against.
I like that.
And
I like that.
I was like, okay, well, if you're not getting along, you're going to tell me if you think you're better? And she's like, I'm better.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
that.
all right, there we
Let's
go.
Let's go.
So, I love the
sibling
confidence.
rivalries. Yes, absolutely. Sibling rivalries seems like the theme this year. I like it. Who's
Trailside going with their second pick, then Moflo back on the clock. So I think this draft went exactly how Menneson Flores has wanted, because I know they were talking about taking Bernardis in round 1, and I was like, I liked her game a lot, but I was a little surprised. I'm like, you trade up to 2, and you could have got her not moving and had Jellison still. But no, you get an Altavilla and then come back and you still get a Bernardis. And then you have right now, Trailside's going to get, the floor's open. I'd be shocked almost if it's not the younger Ferno. I know there's some discussion over there.
Honestly, I think they're scrambling because they wanted Bernardis, if I'm not.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I could see them, because it looks like some confusion. But if you're Menneson Flores, Giannikis or Ryan
at
Sledge
10,
will be. If Giannikas is there, that's who they're going to
that
take
is their
without
pick.
question.
Absolutely.
But if not, you still have Ryan Sledge there, and
Yep.
she was great with the
she
ball
was
yesterday.
awesome. She was awesome.
She told me
Finishing
she
at the
wants to
rim.
be better than RJ too.
Yeah, I love it. I
I
love it.
love the competition there. Love that. As we'll go with our next pick here for Trailside as pick number 9. Overall, round number 2, pick number 3, as Trailside making their second selection after already adding Abby Jenis earlier here this evening.
With pick number 9 in the second round, Trailside picks Ava Clark, Brownsville.
So Ava Clark, again, one of those more experienced girls inside the draft, and Clark seems like a girl. She can bully people. She can step out and shoot the ball. How do you think she's going to complement your group you already have?
Well, I watched her the entire night. There were only 10 players last night, and she got a lot of look time, a lot of exposure time. And I tell you what, I love her tenacity. I love her aggressiveness. Strong kid, okay, sturdy built, and can get to the rack. And also, like I said, she can rebound. And I liked all the different things that she did last night. And we worked them hard. There was only 10 of them, and she gave great effort the whole night. So we're excited to have her and add her to the team.
So Ava Clark now adding to an already talented Trailside roster. Maybe a little earlier than I saw Clark going, but I like the pick personally. I thought Clark is going to be someone that can actually dominate some people in this league. Just, has the skills, the abilities to play, outside, but is an absolute bully as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Like he said, she had a lot of time yesterday. We had 10 girls at day 2 of tryouts, but they were going at it, and it was good to see. So it seems like a good pick here in the second round.
I think Safari Larry might have cringed on that pick, though. I think he wanted her.
Yeah, Brownsville connection, Larry.
So we'll go to our third pick for Monessen Florist here this evening already. Again, added Altavilla and Bernardus out of Baldwin with their opening 2 selections.
For our third pick, we're taking Haley Bennett from South Park.
So another South Park Eagle coming off the board in Haley Bennett. And Bennett, got to see her a little bit. Good-looking ball player, and will be the newest Monessen Florist. Really kind of thought they were going to go the young guard there, but instead go with Bennett out of South Park to join and end their 3 picks. And, I think that's kind of saying you're punting on getting a Giannikas, not picking again until 20 overall. So that's going to be some time off now for
We're at
Monessen Florist.
11 and 12 next, right?
Yeah, 2 AMD picks.
I'd be surprised if she got past these 2.
I would be too.
I'd be surprised if she got past these 2.
Let me find. That was Haley Bennett.
That was Haley Bennett. We got number 26 right here.
But I also understand wanting to add a older player.
Absolutely.
Bennett, Bennett a junior. And again, Bennett was a good-looking player in her own rights. And when you have some younger talent in Altavilla and Bernardus and rising sophomores, it makes sense to add some veteran players as well. But AMD going to have some rapid-fire picks here. And again, I'm with you. If Juliana Giannikas is still on the board, I might hop off the rail behind us and just call it a night.
Yeah. I'll put my job on it.
Go ahead, Bria.
Okay, I don't know what number we're on, sorry.
11 and 12.
11. So with the 11th pick, we are going to take a rising 8th grader who will be at Norwin, Juliana Giannakis.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'll get that right,
Giannakis.
promise.
Perfect. So we got Gianna, like we said.
And we don't have to jump off the railing.
Yeah, wasn't going past 11 and 12
No.
like we predicted. But Bria, what did you see from her yesterday, Juliana yesterday, to make you select her here in the second round?
One, her ball handling was amazing. 2, just how she was vocal on the court. Being an 8th grader, the tryout yesterday, she talked more than anyone on the court, was a leader already. And I think this league is just going to help her tremendously. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for her. And I think she's going to help us out a ton.
Getting a coach's kid here in round 2. in Juliana Giannikis. Very humble kid, going to be a great addition, and we'll go right into it. Who's number 2 of this back-to-back
All right,
pick?
so we are taking another Thomas Jefferson Jaguar, a rising sophomore, Emily Hertz.
So Emily Hertz, another TJ player, as Thomas Jefferson. This is a non-tryout player out with an injury, so we'll get her back sooner than later. But Emily Hertz coming here at pick number 12 for AMD.
I'm not even going to ask you because I know for a fact that this was Noah's only pick of the draft that he wanted.
It was. So, yeah, we saw she was an honorable mention her freshman year at TJ, so that's huge. We're hoping, we can get her back pretty quick. But, again, if not, she's young. So, happy to see that. Fellow Leopard, it's killing me picking all these Thomas Jefferson girls, but it's okay. Put it behind me.
As it's Giannikis and Hertz, so something to look at as we go into the league. And it says it on our notes, in the boot till 6:20. Well, we're still a week out from games, so we got plenty of time.
Absolutely.
But Giannikis, coach's kid at Norwood, but something to look at. We can compare this now all season long. Giannikis, Sailor Lee. That was the trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're AMD, and nothing against Sailor Lee, you won that trade already.
Yeah.
Getting Giannikis for 5 years,
Yep.
and what she is going to be, I think what she's going to be this year, maybe a tough opening 3 games.
Yes. Yeah.
Opening
there's
2
always
weeks.
an adjustment period.
But that
for
girl
these
is
young
going to
girls.
be fantastic.
She's going to be really good. She has a tight handle.
We saw what Mia Ladon did.
Yeah, right.
She
exactly. We
again,
saw what
another
Mia did.
coach's
Yep.
kid, may not be a basketball coach, but another coach's kid. So
With a lot of talent that was able to transition after a few weeks here in this league. So it's gonna be really interesting. We'll see how it goes. But I agree. Everybody's gonna watch because those are gonna be the 2 teams that are probably gonna be in the top 4 again. So to see how that trade evens out is gonna be very interesting. It's probably gonna be the talk of the summer too.
they made the last 2 championships.
Right.
So again, round 1, Wilson, Altavilla, Jenna Squares, and Amato, and along with McCabe, Palo, Bernardus, Clark, Bennett, Giannikis, and Hertz. And that's Lindsay Bernardus, the younger Bernardus sister. That is round 1 and 2, as Howard Hanna will start us off in round number 3. As Howard Hanna, their 4th pick already, and already adding to what is a talented roster with a lot of talent still on the board here in round 3.
Howard Hanna is going to select Bella Niles, a rising junior from Baldwin.
So Bella Niles moving on to the Howard Hanna squad. A lot of Baldwin players as well. Nice to kind of see expanding a trio of Highlanders and Bella Niles, a rising junior. So again, you got a nice mix for this squad from Howard Hanna, I think, with younger players, older players, the sophomores, now the rising juniors. And I kind of really like how this Howard Hanna roster is starting to shape up when they had a lot of work to be done, but they did have one of the best players in the league returning.
Yeah, 100%. And they still got 3 more picks, 2 or 3?
2 more.
2 more.
19 and 24, because the bonuses are going to B Graphics and Monessen Floors.
Okay, perfect. So they still got 2 more picks to round
I believe
out the roster.
it's B Graphics, right,
B
Chad?
Graphics, right? Okay.
Because that was originally bonus round. Everyone was getting drafted this year, but it comes down to only 2 bonuses. So that went through exemptions and then pick out of the hat, and it was the 30. The first pick is going of those is going to B Graphics. Then MoFlo will have the last pick of the draft as Bobby Zanoski. He got 2 players, and finally, for the first time in a while, Bobby Zanoski back on the clock.
Felt like it's been an hour since I was up here.
No trades thus far. I'm disappointed, Bobby.
We unfortunately don't have anything to. I'd love to trade. We got to get some players to trade. I have nothing to trade with. But with our selection in the 3rd round, we select Tori DeStefano from Penn Trafford.
So another player that was shaken up. DeStefano, you only got 1 pick, so I'll ask you what your Bobby's running away.
I'm here.
What's your review to DeStefano here, Bobby?
We're just hoping that she is currently on the injured reserves at the moment, but if she's able to play, she probably would have went in the 1st round. So we're just hoping she's going to be cleared in time to play.
The same man that found a way to get Nate Brazil off a trade for a 2nd round pick is taking a waiver on a girl here in the 3rd. That 1st round talent, as long as she can be healthy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, he went with another junior, so he's going to continue to go older. He wants to compete this year with a roster that's absolutely depleted.
And if you want the young talent, you take them that 3 in a row.
Exactly, 100%. And with a depleted roster, you kind of got to build with older girls. And if you want to compete this year, you want to put the best product out on the floor, build your team with some older girls, and then draft a young talent late and see how it pans out.
Hey, Bobby's always in a win now mode. It's not rebuild. It's win now.
Exactly.
And he'll let you know still if his players were allowed to play last year in the boys' league, they would have won again. Which, to be fair, I agree with them on that note.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That team was absolutely
one of those
fantastic.
players. One of those players was my nephew that he tried to make play with an injured knee. So me and Bobby still got an issue with that. But I agree.
That's reasonable, though.
Yeah, very reasonable. Bobby was desperate. Hopefully, we don't have that same problem this year.
Again, it's almost surprising as much as that could turn out to be one of the steals of the draft into Stefano, but when you're building an entire roster and that's only your second pick and third total player on your roster, it is risky. But I think he's looking. He sees what's still on the board and knows I have 3 picks in a row still coming up. There's a lot of young girls on this board still, and if you're looking at younger players, you do have the younger Furno sister. You have the likes of, who I'm looking for? You still have Ryan Sledge on the board.
You still have Isis.
The
eighth grader coming up from Bell Vernon.
She's going to be a monster.
She is going to be very good. If anyone knows her mother, Tish, who went to West Virginia and played basketball, very good. Thousand good. I
like Rhea Johnson a lot. There's another Penn Trafford girl. She looked really, really good in the tryout period, and very humble kid, which I like too. She said, I'm more about making everyone around me better.
Exactly.
Like she has a good shot too. So Rhea Johnson definitely someone to look at. We have the younger Gibson, Haley's younger sister. I look at, depending how far Gibson falls. I know Manessa and Flores will be looking maybe to scoop up the younger Gibson sister and put those two together.
Yeah, we still have. We mentioned her earlier. Josephina's still on the board, correct?
Yeah.
Farno, she's on the board.
That could change here, though.
Yeah,
we could see that.
Well, yeah. Now that
you already got two veterans,
exactly.
So it gives you the ability to go young here.
100%. So we've got Trailside up here in the 3rd round.
Then Bobby's right back on the clock. So.
Perfect.
All right, Coach. What's number 3 for you going to look like?
Number 3, pick 15. Ryan Sledge.
So Ryan Sledge, one of those younger
from
players.
Oakland Catholic.
We just talked about Sledge, very good ball handler. And again, similar to Clark, got to see a lot of her last night and liked what you saw.
Exactly. Got to see 2 hours of all of them last night, and I like the way she handles the ball, pushes it well. Great PG traits, and has a good understanding of the game, which is good. And like I said, she worked hard, played hard last night. There were only 10 of them. They all worked hard, gave extra effort last night. I like the way she pushes the ball, has good ball smarts as a PG, and like I said, we're happy to have her.
So Ryan Sledge going off the board here to Trailside again. A Trailside squad, they're going to be guard heavy too. It's one of those teams they don't want bigs.
No.
Their big is Caitlin Settles. And she's a monster.
She's probably
going to
lead the league in rebounding too. It's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I agree. They're going guard heavy. I think Sledge was going to be the next pick for.
It seemed like it.
Cedarbrook, who obviously since he coached her brother, that makes the most sense. Can finish so around the rims, insane. There was a move she had yesterday where she was basically out of bounds and reached her arm back inside and with some English on it, spun it off the glass. Oh, it was beautiful. So you could tell she has some talent on her, just like her brother, and she's young. Me and Bria were actually just texting earlier this morning that if AMD would have got her, it would have been similar to the Oakland Catholic one that we had. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. The defender,
Troxler Scott.
Yeah, Troxler Scott. We feel like Sledge would have been very similar to that if she would have got to AMD, which looks like she's going to be like that for Trailside.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I have a special guest with me for my pick, Coach Bria's nephew.
Say hi, Wells.
Wave to the camera.
Little camera shot. That's okay. What the hell's my team? Cedarbrook Golf Course selects Isis Almady, 8th grader, Bell Vernon.
Isis Almighty.
So the size added there, Bobby, and you add veterans. Now you add some youth. One of the bigger girls we see in the draft, and going to be able to kind of
Good
pound down low.
bloodline.
Great
bloodline.
Who's her uncle?
Her uncle was a Pitt All-American, Mick Williams, and her mother played at West Virginia.
Yep.
So we could do a lot worse than that.
Absolutely. We were actually just talking about ISIS.
All about the bloodlines here.
All about the bloodlines here. That should be.
My only concern, obviously, if you're an 8th grader getting invited to this league, you're something
good.
special.
Absolutely.
Kneel it on.
Yeah.
Giannikis,
Yep.
Almighty. The only control or concern that I had was in my interview with her yesterday. She said, I know I'm good down low. I want to work on being a guard. Bobby, get her in the paint. Don't let her leave the paint. We don't need another Alyssa Terza. Ask Yard about that one.
I agree. Get her in the paint.
Get Almighty in the paint. Don't let her be like Terza shooting threes.
No. But ISIS is going to be really good. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see. And we have, for the first time this year, if he's ready.
No safari hat, nothing.
No safari hat, no army pants, nothing. The legend.
We couldn't see him last night.
The real Larry Legend. Tell him. Head coach of B Graphics, Mr. Larry. Who we got, Larry?
With the 17th pick is Raya Johnson, number 27. Raya Johnson.
Nice young player. And Larry, I really liked Raya's game last night. Very humble kid as well. What about her game do you think fits your squad so well?
I think she fits in pretty well with us. She's young. She can dribble, handle the ball. She can shoot. I think she'll work well with us, with the older kids.
She has some good sides to her,
Got
too.
good sides to her.
Yeah.
As a freshman, yes.
Yeah, she's going to be good.
Thank you.
Raya Johnson, just talked about her not that long ago. Again, I liked her game a lot, and very good kid, and going to B Graphics with her first pick, and you could do a lot worse in the 3rd round, pick 17, getting still talent like Raya Johnson. Almighty going at pick 16. That's a lot of talent. When you look at this run that we said, DeStefano, Sledge, Almighty, and Johnson from picks 14 to 17, this late in the draft, that's a lot of talent.
That's a ton of talent. And Johnson, whenever I walked in the gym yesterday, I asked Yart what Terza was doing there. She looks literally almost similar to her. The build is almost similar. She's skinnier now though. She's definitely going to have to put on some weight.
I mean, you get Terza as a freshman.
I was going to say as a freshman though. Oh my gosh, no. She has some good length to her, and she has some skills. So she's going to be really good for them.
Yeah. And 2 Norwin Knights still on the board. Again, one hasn't played high school ball yet. The other one has. But just bringing that up, that's a winning culture right
Absolutely.
there whenever one of those two gets taken. Bria, who are you going with for AMD here in round 3?
We are going to take a rising freshman from Norwin, Aubrey Graney.
Yep.
So there is actually 3 Knights. Forgot about Greeny. But again, Norwin knows how to win. A lot of young talent and a young ball handler coming to AMD.
Absolutely. Yes, excited. And that rounds out our draft pick, so we are super excited.
So AMD set in stone, looking to go back-to-back, adding the freshman Graney out of Norwin. Again, that's a program they know how to win, and you get a pair of Norwin Knight teammates. I'm sure Coach Giannikis is going to like 2 of his younger players playing together, even though Julia's still going to have a year out.
Yep.
But Spitznagel, she's just going to be a sophomore. And, you have Josefina Furno, who, this is just a program. They win. They're good at, a lot of these girls, softball, basketball players at Norwin. And there's a reason the Knights are so successful when you have athletes like this.
Absolutely. And as you looked at AMD's draft, they wanted 2 TJ girls and then 2 Norwin girls. So they went with the bigger schools, and they went with the talent, like he was just talking about. They're really good in all sports, and so it's going to be interesting how they mess with the other girls that's been at AMD for so long.
And if you get the play Deshae Cochran's capable of, this is a team that's done exactly what they needed to in their draft.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
As Howard Hanna back up here at pick number 19. And this is going to be Howard Hanna's penultimate pick. They'll pick at 24, and then that will round out the Howard Hanna roster.
Howard Hanna selects Kalina Earl Hayden from Woodland Hills.
So a rising freshman out of Woodland Hills. Now, adding to this roster for Howard Hanna. And, just adding more young talent, and especially at this point in the draft, you know what you already have, and it's never bad to add young players that are raw but skilled, and I think that's what Howard Hanna's getting right here.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. It's never a bad idea whenever you're adding young players, especially guard play. Guard play in this league, I think, is very beneficial. If you can get the young girls in this league early, handling the ball against some of these very tenacious defenders, their skill level is going to rise, and next summer you're going to be very happy that you picked them this summer. I'll just say.
Oh,
that.
absolutely. I think anything this I remember of Layla Marchinsky. I think she's going to be really good this year.
Yep, exactly.
So we'll wait to see on that one, but we'll see what Monessen Florist has here as Chad in classic promoter mode right now.
We're going to take Mallory Clemmer from Laurel Highlands.
Great pick, Bella.
Mallory Clemmer, a rising freshman. Again, talked about it. Who do you have you can take waivers on? Who do you have at this point of the draft that you think you can add that's going to be able to mesh with your squad? And when you traded Jellison, you, in a sense, added a hole that Gibson's not going to be able to play the full game. They like having a big on Monessen Florist. We've seen that consistently for them. Pascal Olzak and Haley Gibson. And Jellison, you got rid of Jellison, you need another one. Clemmer, Raw, and I think someone that you can't teach 6'1". We'll start there, and we'll see where you go from that, just being a rising freshman.
Exactly, yeah. There were talks of her going a lot higher, so Chad probably was clapping so hard because she fell to him here late in the 4th round. So
Trailside back up, and here's their 4th round selection at pick number 21.
With pick number 21 in the 4th round, Trailside picks Josephina Furno.
So there it is, the Furno connection coming to Trailside, knowing that will make Josephina very happy. And I'll put it this way, it will probably make the Furno parents very happy that they only have to worry about
one game
a night. As another Norwin Knight off the board. Again, we talked to Josephina. She absolutely wanted to play with her sister. That's what she was hoping for, and that's what she gets here. So she will get the wish to go to play with her sister, and Monessen Florist will head back on the clock here at 22 overall. They got a rising freshman big, and now we will see what they go with at pick number 22, and kind of imagine it's going to be one of the young guards here. They do have that bonus pick, and they do have a pick at 27.
Yeah.
So I think you're definitely looking guard play. I know Jeremy likes Spitznagel a lot, so that's something. Maybe you look at that. You have the other Bernadas. I know Jeremy was a fan of Gibson, but remember, this is also a Bellish draft this year.
Yep.
So it's going to be the first successful draft in MoFlo history, apparently.
Apparently.
Go ahead, Bella.
We're going to take Victoria Emmerich from Trinity.
And talk about winning,
Talk about
that's what Trinity
culture.
does.
That's it. That's Trinity.
Talk about Trinity girls in our league.
Exactly.
Clutter Williamson, Sutton Williamson.
Both the Venick twins.
It's just been. We had the younger Venick, Riley,
the older.
We had the twins, and then we had
the twins, and we still got the
younger. We had the younger one last year. Yeah,
last year. Absolutely.
So it's Trinity. You know what you're getting with Trinity players, and I think that is a great addition. Rising sophomore, so a young player.
Yep.
With a winning culture at Trinity, 5'5" guard, showed up both nights. Good player here in the 4th round from the Trinity Hillers, and Larry Cash hoping to cash in here in the 4th round with pick number 2 for him. That's coming when it starts. All right.
Let's go.
Hey, opening night was Safari Larry night last year.
All right, Larry. Let's go, Larry. Who you got, Larry?
Okay, with what pick am I?
23rd.
With the 23rd pick, I picked Tracy Klingensmith from Baldwin.
Another Baldwin.
So
Tracy Kling, 41, yep.
40.
So another Highlander. We've seen a number of them. 5'9" guard, rising junior joining this squad.
What you like
from
about her,
V
Larry?
Graphics.
I like her size.
Yeah.
She can move, and she can shoot. So in a zone, she's going to help me out a whole lot. You know how I did a couple years ago with the bigs. I like my big girls.
Oh, Larry, I knew it. I knew there was a reason why I asked you. No, that's a good pick, Larry. That's a great pick.
Yo, shout out to Mr. Pirates beat writer extraordinaire in the draft, Jose in the chat.
Jose. Shout
Absolutely.
out Jose.
Absolutely miss Jose. Love Jose.
Man.
Hope all is well, buddy. Hope all is well. Jeremy liking Jose in the draft. Larry liking add another big, a.k.a. Laney Gertich for all those years.
That's why the Twitter stopped, because he used to run the Twitter last. It's too much to handle.
No, that's awesome. Man, how about Baldwin and Norwin this draft, huh?
I love it. I
Oh my
love it.
gosh.
Adding, Thomas Jefferson, we got a sprinkle.
Thomas Jefferson, yeah.
Adding, you get the little taste, and then everyone wants to hop in. I love that.
I agree.
And that's why this has been
Beautiful
so
to see.
successful, and still is so successful here now in the Steel City Summer Basketball League. So we are moving into round 5. Round 4 went like this: Earl Hayden, Clemmer, Furno, Emmerich, and King Smith, as Klings Smith the final pick. Round 1, it was Wilson from Thomas Jefferson, Altavilla from TJ, then Abby Jenis, Leah Squares from NA, Delaney Amato from North Hills, Riley McKay from TJ, Brooke Palo started the second round, Lindsay Bernardes, Ava Clark, Haley Bennett, and Juliana Giannikis with Emily Hertz to round out the second round. Bella Niles, Tori DeStefano, Orion Sledge, Isis Almighty, Rhea Johnson, and Aubrey Graney in round 3. And then those 6 we just mentioned in round 4. Into the 5th, it's Howard Hanna, Cedarbrook, Trailside, MoFlo, B Graphics for round 5. As we will see where we go from here, as teams are just putting those final touches on their roster. AMD, they can sit back. They're done. As we get a go Knights from Jose. He's loving the Norwin talents.
Yeah, I bet he is.
Slag was phoning into Coach Nick.
Yeah, no, she had to make a little phone call, but seems like
Now head coach.
Yeah.
Nick taking over.
Absolutely. Seems like she's ready to go, though. Howard Hanna sparking off. Was this 5th round, round 5?
Yeah.
Nice. Let's go.
Again, shout out to Trailside once again. Beautiful venue
Yeah, beautiful
for this.
setup,
Gracious
outdoor.
host. Love being outside for
Amazing
this.
food, everything.
Howard Hanna is going to select Gabby Reeg, a rising sophomore from Trinity.
And another one.
Another one.
All the Hillers. They have come in waves into the Steel City Summer Basketball League. And Trinity girls, again, we talked about Bentley Lehue. That's another one I think we were forgetting. She's on the Monessen Flora squad from Trinity.
Yep.
So Trinity girls, they've had a knack of coming to this league and being very successful. And the only coach that's waiting on me, Bobby Zanowski.
Cedarbrook selects Kaylin Slazik. Sorry if I mispronounced it. EF, guard, freshman.
That's a great pick.
So-
Stay sack.
So a Warrior off the board here, and that's a future.
Shout out to the Warriors, future Whippeal champs.
Future Warrior assistant
Yeah,
coach.
future Warrior assistant coach, yes. And
So he gets a couple of his future girls in Jellison, and now a rising freshman.
in Staysack, yes. I mean, I've heard great things about her. I haven't got a chance to see her play, but a 5'6" guard already as a freshman, you can imagine her getting up to 5'9". So as long as her ball handle is tight, I think she'll definitely be able to help Cedarbrook, because I feel like that's what they're lacking at the moment is ball handling.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Cedarbrook again; they didn't have much coming in. Skewers obviously wants the ball in her hand, or Squares.
Squares, yeah.
I had it down as Squares, and then Jeremy said I'm going to end up calling her Skewers,
Skewers,
and then it just stuck. So
Oh,
we'll blame Jeremy on that one, but hey, that's all right. It's also the draft night. I haven't talked to most of these girls individually yet, and then we'll be fine by halfway through night 1. So
yeah, I was going to say night 1 will be fine.
as what we have left here is Trailside, MoFlo, and B Graphics, and then again round 7 we're going to have the quickest round 7, 8, 9 ever, because Bobby Zanowski doesn't waste time, and he's the only one with picks there.
Yeah, he has pick 32, 33, 34, and 35, so he's going to be very fast. And I can assume that he knows them all right now.
Oh, absolutely. Some players to look at still on the board. We mentioned Olivia Gibson, her older sister Haley, in the league right now on Monessen Florist. California player also looks at, we have a rising senior from Carmichael's. They were out due to PIAA softball and stuff like that. So we have Allie Jacobs from Carmichael still on the board. Althoff out of Greensburg Central Catholic.
Forward.
And that's where you're falling. You're
Exactly.
forward.
Exactly.
You have Spitznagel, again, another Norwin player. The other in Lacey Bernardis, her older sister went round 2. Emerson Lacard out of Bell Vernon.
Yep.
So still some players on the board to look at. If Spitznagel falls past Trailside, I would not be surprised if that's Monessen Flores' pick with a ball handler and Spitznagel. Spitznagel out of Norwin if she's there.
Possibly. I don't think she's going to be there.
You think Trailside scooping her up here?
Where are they at?
You're next. You're next.
You're right after.
You're right after Trailside.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Couple Trojans still on the board. Another girl from Brownsville, wouldn't be surprised. Larry F. Picklex.
Yep.
Saw her yesterday as Trailside making their way for their pick here in round 5.
With pick number 26, Trailside is going to go with Nolan Althoff, GCC.
So there is that Centurion we were talking about headed off the board here. So Spitznagel, Chad didn't think she'd be there. She is going to be there for Monessen Flores if they do indeed want her. So I wouldn't be surprised if they quickly scoop up the Norwin Knight here. But Althoff, again, that's a program. You talk about, do you get players that know how to win? Well, Althoff, part of a WPIAL championship team. And,
GCC, yep.
you know, GCC talent, Erica Gribble, don't ask Chad about her. Avery Davis, we can ask AMD about how much they love her.
Absolutely.
Maya Morgan.
Great GCC player. So we can only assume that Althoff is going to be great for this league as well.
Yeah, and even if you're not seeing a ton of varsity action, you're playing with those kids. You're around that culture every day in practice.
Every single day.
All right, Jeremy. 27, Jeremy.
Okay, with the 27th pick of the draft, Monessen Flores is keeping with the theme. We're going with Allie Jacobs, a senior from Carmichael's, who wasn't at the tryouts because she's playing for a state championship tomorrow in softball. So she got some things to do, but that's all right. We're taking her. We're keeping the theme going of big bodies underneath, and we're going to bang around a little bit.
Right, let's go.
So Allie Jacobs off the board here for Monessen Flores. Again, I really thought they were going to want a ball handler on the but they're liking the bigs, and that's just going to put what it's going to do. Obviously, you have players capable of handling the ball. Lehue can, but I don't see her as a true point for them. You added Emmerich from Trinity. You added Haley Bennett, who I think can handle the ball, and Altavilla kind of, again, donned a point guard. That's why you thought maybe a Spitznagel there, because they don't want Maggie Spell to be their primary ball handler, but that's what it's working in.
If you know Chad, he seems completely fine with leaving the ball in his best player's hands 24/7.
You guys ready?
And remember, if you just got drafted by Monessen Flores, you get a free pass. Shoot as many three-pointers that you want.
You have the green light.
Everybody gets the green light. Listen, I have the green light from the broadcast table. I can just start chucking up threes from Mo Flow. Go ahead, Larry.
Okay, with I don't even know what pick I am.
28. You are, yep, 28.
28. With the 28th pick, I picked Lacey Bernardis from Baldwin.
There goes that, Bria.
So there's the other Bernardis girl off the board, Lacey, who her younger sister says she's better than.
She didn't try out.
Yeah, she has the injured finger, so the other Bernardis was out for tryouts, didn't get to see her, so I'm actually just very excited to watch those two play against each other.
Me too.
Because obviously there's definitely sibling rivalry there instead of sibling intimidation like with the Furnos. So very excited to see those two go at it as another Highlander off the board.
The last one. All Highlanders off the board.
So
now,
we got
for
a
sure.
Leopard and Emerson Lacarte. Does Howard Hanna have any picks left at all?
No, they
so
do
she
not.
did play for Slagus when
Yeah.
she was at Bell Vernon.
No, they did
just,
not.
Couple Trojans.
With our next pick,
Bobby's rolling. I love it.
Bobby's ready to go, apparently.
Let's
Go
go,
ahead,
Bobby.
Cedarburg NBA Finals. Cedarburg Golf Course selects Madison Johnson, guard Monessen.
A Greyhound. I love to see it. I knew someone was going to pick the Greyhound, and I knew if it was going to be someone, it was going to be Bobby. So we're very happy. She has great genes as well. The Johnsons and Monessen can play basketball. They can rebound the heck out of the ball. So should be really good for. Yeah, 1,000, right? That's what I thought. I was almost positive that was her sister. So her sister had 1,000 in high school. So,
and she's been good with Monessen, a lot of varsity experience. This is just the thing that's gonna. I think you look at a player like Johnson, why she fell here. Her numbers have been fantastic, but the question is, how long is the adjustment period going to be? Like we talk about with a lot of the younger players or a lot of the smaller schools,
right? Yeah, exactly.
That TJ, they may be young players, but they're playing 5A competition.
Exactly.
They're playing some of the top AAU competition. When you're going to a smaller school like Monessen, you're not seeing maybe the competition that you're going to see night in and night out. So how's that adjustment period going to work for her? She has the talent, she has the skills. It's just going to be putting it on the deck here and letting it kind of come to her and not trying to overplay.
2 times a week, it's a tough league. So you're going to get bumped. You're going to get bruised throughout the first few weeks. So as long as you can adjust and contribute to your team, you should be fine. But like you said, it's an adjustment period for every single player that steps in. And it's a testament to how great this league is and has been over the past 5 years.
Chad thought Spitznagel would go to Trailside last pick. They're back on the clock here. Long discussion over for Trailside.
Looks like they're discussing it with the owner.
They're phoning it in. I like it.
They're phoning in
you know
the
what?
owner.
Hey,
I like it.
You get to make the call.
owner.
It's your choice. Your team, your choice. I'm all for it. So
We got Mark Cuban in the house.
I love
it. Call it in. Call it in. Oh, man.
It's just like, it reminds me of dodgeball. You're sitting at the scores table. Looks like he's phoning this one in.
But to your point, I mean, most of the girls left, if I'm not mistaken, are smaller schools.
Some Trojans.
Yeah, we see California.
Brownsville.
We see Brownsville. Who else?
We do have one more Highlander, Rebecca Knight.
Okay.
That's a forward, and I doubt we're going to see Trailside go back there.
Right.
Rhea Robinson out of Uniontown.
We got Bell Vernon.
Charlie
Emerson
Murtha
Carter.
out of Uniontown.
Yep.
Spitznagel the Knight.
He wanted to say hi.
What's up, Bubba?
What's up, Chad? You good?
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, guys.
You're going karaoke here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what a great job you guys are doing, as always. Nana, I want to thank you for co-hosting.
Always.
Nana just got his dream job at Pitt. He is the what is officially are you again?
I am the assistant director of recruiting operations for Pitt football.
That's a big deal. That's our guy. We're really proud of you. Wellesy's on the picture right now. Hi, Wells. No, I just want to say first of all, this is we're really happy to do this. As you can see, this we really enjoy this and giving this opportunity to the girls. And somebody once told me a long time ago, I could see how successful you're going to be with the people that you hang around with, and that's a testament to my young friends and my older friends here that help us all out here in the league. Great group of people, and hopefully we have a great league for your daughters to play in. And back to you, Alex. Great job, my friend, as always.
Thanks, Jed. Appreciate it as always, and appreciate you keeping me around after over 2 years of this. You're still putting up with me. But hey, it's been a great draft so far. Teams finishing up their roster, still phoning it in for Trailside here in the latter rounds, and then B Graphics, and then the Bobby Zanoski speed roulette of trio of picks coming for B Graphics after the next 2 selections. Congratulations to all the girls picked thus far and that are going to be picked. Going to be a fun summer of Steel City summer basketball from Mark's Court Time. And again, huge shout out to Trailside, our gracious host here out on the deck. Bike trail back behind us in West Newton. Just beautiful venue for this. Not yet, Bobby.
Flip the camera. Yeah, wave, Wellesley. Do we have a...
We should just got just a floating mic around on the tables.
What'd you say?
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
No, Trailside's up.
I'll get free advertising to my buddy right across the water. You ever looking to just go hang out, have a couple of adult beverages, just go to the other side there, Bloom Brew. My buddy Dan, brewmaster there.
Bobby just picked Johnson from Menneson. It's trail side.
So trail side on the clock here again. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous evening. And again, we'll have games here once a week on the channel currently known as MVI Live. We'll see if that sticks or kind of do we have a bit of a rebrand. We've been talking about that. Some exciting stuff's coming here on this network, but I'll announce it first here for those watching from now on. All our games coming back to YouTube, not just for summer basketball, but for WPIL play as well, besides for playoffs, obviously back to NFHS.
Absolutely.
But
That's
back to
exciting,
YouTube, so very excited.
Very
I'm about
excited.
the precedent and the step. I'm personally helping move this and taking this in the new venture. This is becoming as this is just the start of the rebrand here. Just like the league's getting a rebrand, we're getting a little uplift as well here on the network.
Yeah, so if y'all see Alex at the games, make sure y'all tell him thank you for everything that he does, because he brings a good production to you guys every single year. So make sure you tell him thank you. This is not easy work.
Appreciate it. And as we'll head to Trailside with their next pick here at pick number 30 in round 6.
Pick number 30. Trailside goes with Charlie Murtha.
Uniontown freshman.
So there's a Red Raider off the board again. And based off of what we have left, it's a lot of younger players, if not almost all underclassmen. And this is where I think you take those flyers. Obviously, we have a couple of juniors and and a sophomore. No offense to the juniors. I wouldn't be surprised if they are the ones, and a rising senior as well, if you look at them as your final 3 picks of the draft. And not saying that they are that's where they should be, but it's the fact is, okay, I could take a waiver on a girl I see some raw talent in, and at this point of the draft, I'm going to take her, and let's see where it goes.
Exactly, yeah, which is a smart move whenever we're talking about an actual draft. So it's a great way.
Okay, with the 31st pick, I picked Emerson LeCart from Bell Vernon.
Nice. So we got Emerson LeCart off the board at 31 to B Graphics.
And LeCart has some size to her as well. Larry talked about liking size. Emerson, 5'6", but I mean, not one of the smaller girls, one of the bigger girls left, and he's already went forward heavy here. So
who started her career at Greensburg Central Catholic? She started with a really good program. Obviously, she just transferred back into Bell Vernon recently, but she's seen really good basketball over the past few years. So. She should transition really well into the summer league, so we'll see.
Larry making a liar out of me, taking one of the lone veterans left. But, again, it also looks at what you have on your roster. Larry is kind of veteran heavy, too, with what he's brought into the league. Klingensmith, a junior, he drafted her today. He also added Rhea Johnson. There's this young player. Bernardus, a rising junior, and LeCart, a rising junior. And, Larkin, now she's going to be a junior. Savon Wim's going into her senior year. Lee going to be a sophomore. So, a lot of older talent on.
Yeah, no younger guards.
No, he says we're going for it and hoping for the best.
Absolutely.
And he will have a bonus pick, so there's a chance to get one of those younger players.
Absolutely. So Cedar Brook's up next with the next 4 picks. 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Cedar Brook's up next with the next 4 picks, so we're going to give Bobby just a little bit of time to collect all 4 picks. But obviously not much to choose from now. There's only a handful of girls left to select from, but still some really talented young girls out here that he can add to his roster, especially some ball handlers. As we said, Squares is really his only ball handler right now. DeStefano can handle the ball whenever she is healthy a little bit, but still he needs some younger ball handlers that he could sub in that can bring the ball up court sometimes.
Yeah, and this is kind of, you have your pick here. You have 4 in a row. Who did you thought can turn into something?
Well, Spitznagel's still on the board,
Spitznagel is still there.
I would assume that's going to be one of his 4.
I would imagine, because I think she's a player that could not just be a good player for the next 4 years or 3 years, but I think it's a player as well that could be good by week 3.
Yeah,
I think she's a girl that's going to have a bit of a learning curve, but I think by like week 3, and if you get your girls rolling by the playoffs, You're all right.
Yeah, you're all right. Absolutely. We got a freshman here from South Park. I haven't seen her. Her name is Phoenix.
Yeah, I have not either.
But South Park, so she had to seen some good basketball over the past few years too, because they have a really good and a really consistent middle school aged league out there. That those girls always end up with some really good talent. Obviously, Brooke Palo got picked a little bit earlier in this draft, so that's another name to look out for. Haley Bennett also got picked number 10.
Yeah.
So South Park has some girls picked pretty high. So picking this freshman might not be a bad idea for Bobby.
And then you have Horobic from Brownsville at junior. You have there is one senior left, Rebecca Knight from Baldwin.
Yeah.
I just don't think Bobby wants to go size. It just never seems like. I mean, if you look at his B graphics teams of old on the boys' side of things, Zion, RJ, Nate Brazil,
Yep.
Donovan Gordon. I mean, okay, yeah, what do you have some size when he had Q and Jaden Pratt?
Yeah, but like.
But again, it's Q and Jaden Pratt.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Q and Jaden Pratt. So like
There's a reason Q's now up playing D1 college football.
Exactly. Yeah, those are outliers, and obviously he picked ISIS really early in this draft.
So you already got your.
That's Bobby's one big. If you know Bobby, that's his one big.
Exactly.
And mostly because she has a lot of Monessen in her blood is the reason why he picked her. But if not, I don't know if he would have went a big that early, because that's just not who Bobby is. But we'll see. Like I said, he has the next 4 picks. So
and he has Jellison too.
Yeah, he has Jellison. That's what I mean. He doesn't really need anyone down low. Just fill it out with guards. So
I do like Bobby likes. We've seen Bobby like to spread her out along. You put Jellison, float it out in the wing, and just let her drive. Who's stopping her?
No one's standing in front of her. I'll tell you that. Yeah, absolutely.
You see Michelle coming from the right wing to the block. Go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Just go ahead.
Exactly.
I mean, if anyone saw the interview with Squares, I mean, she almost full on tackled Leah Squares in her interview. I think Chad may or may not have had something to do with that.
Bobby, I find it amazing that you came up in 3 seconds the first 5 times, and now you're just taking your ball.
I figured this would be the fastest 4 picks in Summer Basketball League, but
At least come pick 2 and then think about it.
give us something to talk about,
Yeah,
Bobby.
you gotta give us something to talk about, dude. We can't just give us 2 picks, whatever you have. You don't have to do all 4.
I like it. None of speeding it along here.
What are we doing?
Sorry for the wait. 2.
Oh, wait. You took so long.
The camera cut out.
There he is.
With our next pick, we take Brooke Spitznagel, guard, Norwin.
There's the night we've been waiting for. So Brooke Spitznagel off the board. Shifty young guard. And Bobby, you got any more? Or?
Is that the only one you got for now? If no, it's fine.
We're taking guard, California, Olivia Gibson.
I like it. Freshman too.
So we saw her older sister, Haley.
She's off the board. Yep, we still got the Baldwin Rising senior, Rebecca Knight's on the board.
I've heard people say they think Olivia's going to be better.
Rising senior, Rebecca Knight.
Well, I say it, and Bob brings it to
Say
fruition.
it, we'll put it into work.
He's just listening to you.
I know. I'm not going to say another name. I feel like I'm drafting his team now.
Spitznagel, Gibson, and Knight.
Oh, for the love.
You got Clara Horobic's back. Leah Hartley's available. Phoenix Slavic. Ray Robinson. I think that's it.
Yeah,
Hold on.
So the South Park.
Bear with me.
South Park girl Phoenix, right? She's available.
Yep.
Who else?
Ray Robinson.
Ray Robinson.
Claire Horobic.
Give me Ray Robinson.
Bobby could pronounce that one, so
it's easier to pronounce.
Easy to pronounce.
And that ends the
Junior
four in a row as Ray Robinson.
Great job, Bobby.
Hey, great job, Nona. Way to pick half those for him.
I don't know why. Well, Spitznagel, I was like,
that was
a no-brainer.
That was clear as day. You knew
no-brainer.
Spitznagel was going.
I thought Spitznagel and Knight were going. I'm actually surprised that the Phoenix girl from South Park is still available.
I know Jeremy really was hoping Gibson would fall out.
Yeah, Gibson was a great pick.
So now this is going to be B Graphics.
Brownsville.
So this is going to be
16. Larry is walking to the podium now for his final pick and the bonus pick.
With my bonus pick, I picked Sierra Holback from Brownsville.
Keep it in the hometown, huh?
Keeping it hometown, brother.
I love to hear it. Good job, Larry. Good draft. Good draft.
She's a real good shooter. She's going to surprise some people.
Oh, yeah? I like
She just has to get her confidence up, and she's going to be fine.
confidence up, and she's playing for Larry Cash. Oh, that's good. That's good.
So we have 2 players remaining. So it's MoFlo. Chad, who has the last one?
Okay, so Slagans gets the last one because of the slide earlier on in the season.
Okay.
He takes the last one. Vanessa Flores will take the 37, and then they take the 38.
Perfect.
MoFlo, talk to me.
For our last pick, we're going to take Leah Hartley from California.
So that's the second Trojan on MoFlo's roster
Yep.
with Haley Gibson. And that means Slavic.
Oh, they left what? Slavic for Slagus.
Yeah. we're going to go.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Caitlin. Tell us.
Howard Hannah's going to take Phoenix Slavasic, a rising freshman from South Park.
Perfect.
So another South Park Eagle, and that will do it for the 2024 Steel City Summer Basketball League Draft. A lot of new talent in the league. Rosters are full and nearing the start of the season as now coaches go game planning and get ready for the season as Wilson to Slavic 1 through 38. 38 new girls have joined the ranks, and we can't wait to get underway at Mark's Court Time. Big thank you to our gracious host here at Trailside as 38 new girls join the league and what should be an exciting season of summer basketball.
Extremely exciting season. I don't know who's going to win. Alex, I know you like to give your predictions sometimes. Do you have a prediction this year? Based off of what we just saw in this draft, who constructed the best roster? Who do you think is going to take it?
Let's rate them. Let's go A, B, C, D.
No, we're not going to do it last. We just want to see who's going to win.
No, on the draft.
Oh, on the draft?
Oh, the drafts? Oh.
Oh, I think Howard Hanna killed the draft. I think that's a team. I'll go this way. I can give you my playoff predictions. I think AMD makes the playoffs again, obviously. I see Trailside in the playoffs. I see Howard Hanna and MoFlo as my 4 playoff teams.
Appreciate that. So you don't think Bob has any chance?
I don't see Bob making the playoffs. Bob got to get his girls to show up.
I like that. I do.
But it's tough to leave B Graphics out.
I can't leave B Graphics
My
out.
issue with B Graphics, I don't think they had a great draft. And I guess I don't have the rosters completely written down. I was too busy going 1 through 1. But I could see I think I like AMD a lot with what they added and what they brought back.
Yeah.
I think Howard Hanna has the ability with what they brought in to add to Williamson to make a huge turnaround. I think Trailside, if their players show up, that's going to be good. I think it kind of comes down to, I think you have Howard Hanna and AMD as the 2 locks in the playoffs, if you ask me. But then I'd like to say you think Trailside's going to make it. Then it comes down to B Graphics and MoFlo for the final spot.
Right. Yeah. See, I actually think it might come down to. I think it might come down to Howard Hanna and Trailside for the last.
I could see that too.
I think Howard Hanna has a great team. I think they're going to have a little learning curve in terms of
That's
playing,
a lot of young
together.
players.
That's what I mean. Like you got 4 girls coming back. Yes, Sesteric, Ott, Bittner, and Williamson. Then you're adding.
That's true.
You're adding a bunch to the mix that, especially with the ball handlers, it's going to be tough to get some continuity between them. As far as B Graphics, they're bringing back literally their 4 or 5 best players when you got
the issue.
William Steele, Larkin, Barella, Glisson.
My only issue with B Graphics was, Barella was tough but she didn't show up a lot last year.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm looking at. who's going to be there consistently? You know, I think AMD is going to have their whole roster 99% of the time.
Always.
Altavilla, might as well just write her out as not showing up a single game this year.
Because it just so happens to Manessa Flores.
To be honest, this is going to be the toughest league, I think, to make the playoffs this year that we've seen in a long time.
Toughest league to win, too. I think it's the toughest league to win. Once you get in the playoffs, I don't think there's going to be – the 1-4 game is going to be the most interesting, probably, if you ask me.
I think it's one of those things that, okay, could someone separate themselves in the season? Yeah, absolutely. And we could see a team just run away in the regular season. But I wouldn't be surprised if everyone has at least 2 losses going into the playoffs.
I agree. That's what I started out. I said AMD is going to have to get comfortable with losing. They're going to lose a few games. Like, it's just going to happen. That's how competitive this league is going to be this year. So we're going to see how they respond to that, because they haven't dealt with a season where they've had multiple losses, more than 2. I was going to say, and when we did lose AMD, I'm talking. It's because most of our girls were gone and we were playing with 4 or 5 girls. So seeing them adjust to this period where every single game is competitive and you're not winning games by double digits, it's going to be interesting. Can they win close games? We really don't know. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on too when it comes to AMD. And with B Graphics, we'll see how the new girls mesh with the team that's already been there.
I think AMD, again, I think I say this every year, I think best draft again. I think I would say, okay, who brought in the most talent? Howard Hanna.
Yeah, right.
But you expect them to do that.
You're right, exactly.
With what you were able to do, letting Riley McCabe slide to 6 to you, okay, even if that's not 100% who you're hoping for, that's still a great player.
Exactly.
And then trading Sailor Lee for Gia Anikis, basically, I think that's a huge move inside the draft. And Yart loved Hertz. I think that's a great pick as well. So you had those 3 for AMD early on, and then you get Graney from Norwood in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I mean, what you were able to do with what you were supposed to have, that's impressive. But, again, it's going to be an open league. Everybody's going to have a couple of losses this year. I'd be shocked if someone runs the table, and the question is, this league's going to depend on how quickly these girls come together as a team, as it is every year.
Absolutely.
Can they come together? Will they play as a team, or are they going to play hero ball? You play hero ball, you'll be sitting home come playoff week.
Exactly. And
not on the spot. Are we doing inside the league this year or
no? No. And if I may, I'll give my MVP pick while I'm here. Sutton. Sutton's probably going to take the league by storm.
Oh, I agree.
First off, this is probably the first time we came to this league and not really had an idea who's going to win the MVP. Because last year I think everybody knew Mallory was going to. The year before, everybody knew Eden was going to. That's just how it is. But this year you're looking around. You're like, okay, Abby Janice could.
Spell shows up.
Spell could. Zombak could if she played like she did in high school.
Ferno
could. I mean, Allie Wilson could. But I think everything's going to run off of Sutton as it should.
Also, it's the first year in a while who's actually going to win Defensive Player in the Year.
Hey,
I'll put it out there. It's going to be an AMD player.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee it would probably be an AMD player.
It's not. I mean, Grotto's gone, Daly's gone, but hey, Chloe Zombek, pretty dang good defensive player as well.
Oh no.
Deshae Cochran.
Kaylin Settles is in the league. I
forgot. Oh, that's true.
Kaylin Settles is in the league. I forgot.
It's not going to be somebody from Manessa Flores. We run
Yeah.
it.
Manessa Flores doesn't play defense.
Most 3-point attempts and most 3-point misses, black and silver.
Every day of the week.
All right. Pleasure's always known. I appreciate you finally making me not do something by myself for the first time, what feels like forever. But excited for another season of Summer Basketball League. Steel City Summer Basketball action coming soon to a screen near you. Can't wait to see it here, either on MVI Live or in person, for all summer long, as we're looking forward to another fantastic season of Steel City Summer Basketball.